Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to the Robbie Basel Show here on the Give 'em Five Media YouTube channel. Robbie Basel here, back at it again for a brand new video. And before I start, I gotta say a couple of words first. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to the inaugural Give 'em Five Saturday Night Showcase presented by Across the River. It was a weird stream because I okay, so the reason that I got this question a lot, and I'll answer this question now. The reason the start was scuffed is because I thought I hit manage broadcast, not start broadcast, because in the thing we're using, they're right next to each other. And I hit one, not the other, which that's why the start was so bad. But we figured it out. We got it to work, and we had over 160 viewers. So for our first stream, it may not sound like a lot, but it was a lot. And it's all thanks to you guys. So appreciate everyone who tuned into the stream. It was a lot. It was a very entertaining game between Georgia and Tennessee. We're doing a game this weekend. All the shows will be promoting it as the week goes on. We believe it will be Ohio State against Indiana, but of course, it's always subject to change. What are we talking about today, though? Today, we're kind of also real quick, sorry for no Footy Fridays video last week. There will be a Footy Fridays video this week. We are filming it on, I think, Thursday, but it's like a preview for Friday. Preview that would go out on Friday. It's kind of the idea. So make sure to check out Footy Fridays. This Friday, we'll have the video out ready for you guys. So, like last week was too chaotic. I worked a ton of hours for ESPN. We had papers and other stuff to do. I'm a college student. We have all this stuff to do. But what are we talking about today? Well, we're going to go into more depth on some of these topics that we're talking about today. Apologies. Choked on a chip or something. We'll go more into depth in these on Friday. But we're going to go over the NFL because we didn't get to talk about it on last week's video. And that way that we'll preview it on Footy Fridays. And we'll bring in some other random scores and stats from throughout the week in other sports. And we get to talk about one of my favorite sports, Formula One, this week. So lock in, strap in, do what you got to do because it's a brand new episode of the Robbie Basel Show. It starts right now. And we begin, you know where we're beginning if you follow my channel. We're going through a brief rundown of the chaos in qualifying. So this will be very brief because we're going more in depth on the stupidity of half of these games on Friday. To start, we are in the international window. So that's why we're talking about all these qualifiers. And on Thursday, we were treated to some of the dumbest fixtures I've ever seen. Dumb because of the result in the end. We kicked it off, though, with Iran and North Korea. Iran scored a couple of goals, got a red, then conceded twice and almost lost to North Korea. They won 3-2. Australia can't win the game. They drew Saudi Arabia, which is very significant because Saudi Arabia and Australia are two teams you'd expect to make the World Cup. So despite Australia and Saudi Arabia only winning one match, they are tied for second with China. Yeah, China went out and won a match. Shocking, I know. China, who were completely terrible in the beginning, went out and beat Bahrain on the road 1-0. Oman beat Palestine, so Oman's grabbing some wins. South Korea beat Kuwait, normal stuff. UAE beat Kyrgyzstan. Japan beat Indonesia, like the usual results. And then we go to Uzbekistan. Now, Uzbekistan, I was really hyping them up last week. They lost to Qatar. Tough scenes, I know. So Uzbekistan went out and lost. And then we have where's our other match? And that segues us to Iraq and Jordan. They played out a 0-0. So quick look at the standings before actually we're gonna look at Tuesday, what to watch out for on Tuesday. And when this video goes out, which will be Tuesday morning, you will be able to see some of these matches later in the day, but we'll just preview what to watch out for and something you can maybe go back and watch on Tuesday. The big matchup is, well, there isn't really, there really is, there, my God, there really isn't one. Um, the fixture I would be watching out for, I got two, and they're at 11 a.m. on Tuesday. It's the UAE and Qatar and Oman, Iraq. Now, why am I picking the two most random games here? Bahrain, Australia is another one because Bahrain kind of has to win a match now, and they are playing an Australian team that doesn't lose. Australia has lost one of their first five, yet they've only won one of their first five. They've drawn the other three. Australia is a team that doesn't score. I think that game is going to be very boring, and I'm predicting another draw. These two are unpredictable. If you look at the groups, Qatar has been in better form recently. After their horrendous start, losing and then drawing, they've won two of their last three to propel themselves into tied for third, 3 points off of an automatic qualifying spot. The Qataris are playing the team that is also tied with them in the United Arab Emirates, who are a team you wouldn't think about playing football, but here we are. That game should be back and forth. Once again, predicting a draw, 1-1 would be my score prediction. I like the Qataris, Akram Afif, Almoez Ali. They got some real talent there. The UAE's defense has looked rock solid for the majority of their matches. I'm going to go with a draw. 1-1 would be my score. And on the flip side, in the other match, Oman Iraq is really unpredictable. If you look at the Iraqis, they just drew Jordan 0-0. And if you look what they've done recently, they haven't been scoring a lot, and Oman has. Though the Oman national team is second in their group in goals allowed, which I think could become a problem. But on top of that, they're third in their group in goals scored. So their group doesn't have a lot of big goal scoring teams. And Iraq right now has not been one of them. Ayman Hussein has not looked as good as we thought he would be so far in qualifying. So that's something to definitely watch out for because a win for Iraq, they are currently tied for second. Jordan, I don't remember who Jordan's playing. I believe Jordan is playing Kuwait. Yes, I know. Really weird matchup. Jordan Kuwait. Um, and then Jordan right after. And then, by the way, this is the last qualifying day until March. So once club ball comes back, everything will be kicking off. And we'll go into more leagues for sure, including we'll preview the NWSL final, I believe, on Friday. So that's just a sneak peek in Asia. In UEFA, it was announced that the draw for World Cup qualifying is in a couple of weeks. I believe it's in 3 weeks on December 5th. We will definitely be breaking down those groups eventually. Real quick, we're going to go over to Oceania because who doesn't love a good Oceania qualifier? And one of the teams that I thought would possibly be in the running to make the World Cup is out immediately. And that tiny island, well, tiny islands are the Solomon Islands. They went out and bottled it in the second round. If you don't remember how this works, I don't think a lot of you do because I don't know how many people watch my channel. Two groups, you win top two, you go to the playoff, whatever. Solomon Islands went out and lost to New Caledonia in the second game, and they lost to Fiji, so they're already out. So RIP them. The teams to watch out for: New Caledonia is going to go to the next round. Solomon Islands has a chance. I believe actually no, they're out already. So we know our playoff for. I thought there were 6 matches. It was 3. We know our playoff for March. The playoffs are New Caledonia against Tahiti and New Zealand against Fiji. The teams to watch out for this for sure. I think the two main ones are New Zealand and Tahiti. Tahiti, who have played in major tournaments before, they played in the Confed Cup, which is like not even a thing anymore, but bear with me. They are a good national team. I think New Caledonia will give them a run for their money, but I would pick Tahiti to win that game anyway. New Zealand against Fiji is another weird one because New Zealand are like the only team competent enough to possibly win a game at the World Cup next in 2 years. Fiji isn't, but I think they could really give New Zealand problems. I'm going to say New Zealand wins this bracket, but right now, the only team I think giving them a real chance, a real shot is Tahiti for sure. Rip Solomon Islands. I thought this was their chance, but not yet. Real quick in CONMEBOL, we're saving Africa for last. There's a reason for this. CONMEBOL's absurd. Thursday, we were treated to something on Thursday. We're gonna talk about this. Brazil went out and drew again. They drew Venezuela, which not the end of the world, but it is Venezuela. Argentina then went out and lost to Paraguay because that makes sense. Bolivia ripped my heart and soul. They went out and lost 4-0 to Ecuador. Pretty predictable. Peru drew Chile in those boring, I called it nil-nil draw. I said it last week, and here you go, nil-nil draw. And then we went to Uruguay and Colombia. And of course, because this is Condom Bowl, something stupid had to happen in the end. And two goals scored in stoppage time, one from either team, including a 101st minute winner from Manuel Ugarte, gets the win for Uruguay. So the Uruguayans are flying after not scoring for like 4 straight games. They went out and won a match. Their next game is against Brazil, which is significant because Brazil is terrible. Well, recently, at least, they play on Tuesday night. The big game is Bolivia against Paraguay. If someone wins that game, they're going to be in a much more comfortable position than the other. Colombia, Ecuador is also good, but I will be watching Bolivia, Paraguay. That game is going to be absurd, especially at Bolivia, at the Monumental. Actually, it's the Estadio Alto. It's in the mountains. It's in the Bolivian mountains, essentially. It's like really high elevated. The American viewers, it's essentially like Mile High Stadium in Denver. It's the same thing, but much more elevated. So things happen. That will be chaos. And then we head to Africa. I'll give a sneak peek into how dumb this has been. Ghana blew it. Unsurprisingly, Ghana did blow it. They got some help from Niger, and this is the main storyline we're gonna talk about. So if you don't remember when I talked about it last week, Ghana had to win both of their matches to have a chance, and they needed Sudan to lose twice. Well, Sudan gave Ghana some life after Niger beat Sudan 4-0. Ghana then followed it up by drawing Angola, so Ghana was out already. And then this morning, Niger goes out and beats Ghana. So Ghana, by the way, a team you saw at the World Cup, did not win a match against Angola, Sudan, or Niger. And two of those teams that I at least know of don't even play in their home country. How does this happen? I'm breaking this down on Friday. That's just a sneak peek how stupid this is. Shout out to some of the other teams. We had a crazy ending Group D this morning. The chaos was in Group D because going into the final two matches, Rwanda had to at least win multiple games. Well, they went out and lost to Libya, which gave them no hope. But then they gained some hope because Benin dropped points against Nigeria, rather predictably. So we were into a situation where Rwanda had to beat Nigeria and Benin lose to Libya. Well, Rwanda did the hard part. They went out to Uyo and beat Nigeria. But then Libya and Benin drew 0-0. So because of head-to-head goal difference, Benin is going to the AFCON, or Rwanda isn't. And I feel horrible about that. Other teams to make it through, we had Comoros win their group because that makes sense. They went out on the last day, beat Madagascar. The Gambia just ripped out more hearts and souls because on the second to last day, they went out and conceded a 90th minute winner against Comoros. So they were out already. And because nothing makes sense, they went out and beat Tunisia again. By the way, this is the second time in I think like a couple of years that they've beaten Tunisia in a possibly pointless game. Comoros beat Madagascar, so the group ends with Comoros winning the group. Then Tunisia, the Gambia finished 2 points behind because Comoros beat Tunisia. So the Gambia was out because Comoros is decent. Comoros won their group. Make it make sense. I can't do that for you. Not really other major headlines from this yet. We do have a big game tomorrow. Tanzania is playing Guinea. Whoever wins that is going through. Because Tanzania blew it against Ethiopia a couple of months ago. They drew the opening match, and then Tanzania has actually played pretty competent since. They've gone 500 over their last 4 games to put themselves in a position where they have to beat Guinea. And Guinea has like the leading goal scorer, so that will be fun. Shout out to Zimbabwe. They're going back to the AFCON. because Kenya and Namibia played terrible. Burkina Faso lost to Malawi, which is like Malawi, by the way, made it to the quarterfinals of an AFCON recently, like two AFCONs ago. So Malawi isn't horrible, but when you go out and draw games against Burundi, or no, they drop points against Burundi, you don't deserve to make it. I have nothing against Burundi, but like they're just not good. But some major storylines still to come from Africa. This is their last qualifier for the AFCON, so it's do or die time for Guinea and Tanzania tomorrow. Well, on today for the day you're watching this video. That's your brief international break update. That took 20 minutes. So currently editing the video you're watching, and I just saw the end of San Marino against Liechtenstein. San Marino won again. San Marino. We're gonna break down this game on Friday, 100%. But San Marino have won another match. I know I didn't talk about the UEFA Nations League today because I don't really give a crap about the Nations League. But we'll talk real quick about it because and we have to bring up CONCACAF too. So we'll go over this right now. In League C, League D, San Marino got promoted. Up San Marino. Come on, baby. They're going I think they got promoted. Yes, they did. San Marino is going to Nations League C because they drew Gibraltar and beat Liechtenstein twice. San Marino has won multiple competitive matches and is going to be promoted to Nations League C. They'll be probably like they might get absolutely destroyed by like Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Finland. How is Finland in Nations League C? That's absurd. Um, Kosovo is good. I like that Kosovo team. They might get promoted. Who knows? They have to beat Romania. Actually, they have to beat Romania, or actually, no, they played, and then the match hasn't been finalized yet because Kosovo walked off the pitch. Um, Other teams they'll probably have to beat up. They're like Bulgaria, Belarus, Estonia. They have a chance. And because San Marino won their group, they will be in line, despite them probably getting their butts kicked in qualifying. They will have a chance to be in a playoff for a World Cup spot. San Marino. Because they won their Nations League D group. They will have a chance to make it through the play into the playoff by because of their Nations League standing. It's a very unlikely chance, I'll tell you that. But San Marino is now not the worst team in the world anymore. You could say that. And good for them. They deserved it. San Marino up San Marino, damn it. Um, Other notable results, I almost forgot about this one. We have Israel, shout out Israel. They went out and beat Belgium, but because Israel's goal difference is so awful, they're going down to Nations League B, as predicted. Um, Teams going to the League A playoffs. France and Italy, Germany, Netherlands, Portugal, Croatia, Spain, Denmark, pretty much the standard. Um, Also, Switzerland got relegated, which is really shocking to me. And then real quick, we're going over the CONCACAF Nations League. All the matches are on Monday night. Matches we all care about, for mostly care about. Some are tonight and some are on Tuesday night. USA Jamaica is on Monday night. Jamaica will be out without multiple players because they lost passports. Yes, that's a thing. And Panama plays Costa Rica. So I have the United States. And I'm gonna have Panama, who went out and I believe got an away win against Costa Rica in the first leg. Yeah, they did. They went out and won. I have Panama going through. Panama, very respectable opening result. I think they go out. I think that's gonna be a 0-0, and I have Panama going through on goal on aggregate score. I have the USA winning 1-0 over Jamaica tonight, so the United States will go through, as is Panama. I have Canada beating up Suriname tomorrow. They have to beat Suriname on Tuesday night. They have to beat Suriname. If you lose to Suriname, how? They would be the biggest shocker in the world right now would be Suriname. It would steal the life from San Marino a little bit. And then I have Honduras going out and losing the match, but going through on aggregate against Mexico. Honduras, who won out and won at home 2-0, now have a chance to really cause problems. And there is a chance that Mexico, Canada, and the United States do not make it to the final round of the Nations League, to the semifinals of a Nations League. That is possible. No, I'm serious. US can still lose tonight by multiple goals and lose and be eliminated. That's still possible. Like the top four seeds could all be out of the Nations League, and that would cause a lot of problems in the U.S. Federation. But those are the other major headlines in soccer. Shout out San Marino back to the regularly scheduled program. Honestly, we're doing better than the last video, so let's go to the NFL. And this is where the dramatics came. You see, the NFL this week was absurd. To an extent. Detroit putting up 52 points against someone, that's not surprising. What is surprising is how bad some of these teams are like. The Falcons got beaten up by Bo Nix. Okay. But the big games I want to talk about is Green Bay and Chicago. Now that's where we will be starting. Blocked field goal wins the game for Green Bay. Now, what do you think I'm going to say about this? There's not a lot to say. I mean, Jordan Love touchdown at near the end, great play. And the Packers went up by only one because they failed the 2 points. It was 20-19. Bears are driving down the field. They make a couple of big throws. Caleb able to make a couple of big throws. And Cairo Santos had a chance to win it. It's blocked because that's the Bears' luck. And the Packers win again over the Bears 20-19. Other games to watch out for that we were able to watch out for. The Dolphins finally won. They went out and beat Las Vegas because that's just what you do. The Saints beat the Browns behind a miraculous day from Taysom Hill, which is like one of the more random things you could say, but not surprising things you could say at the same time. Just for reference, Taysom Hill, to make this more absurd, Taysom Hill ran for 138 yards, had 50 receiving yards. Why? He also had a fumble. And he had a kick return of 42 yards. Why? Why? Over 200 combined yards for Taysom Hill. The man really can do it all, can he, Chad? Like, seriously. I don't know another player in the league that can, like, I mean, the Saints are pretty awful, so it's, like, kind of why it's, like, more of a meme, but it's still impressive from Taysom Hill. A very, very impressive day from Taysom Hill. San Francisco lost to the Seahawks, so I really did jinx San Francisco again. The Ravens and the Steelers played a classic. If you like defense, Ravens didn't allow a touchdown and still lost. Amazing work. And then we head to the two late games. Well, three later games. Also, shout out the Rams. They beat the Patriots. But in the end of the 1 o'clock window, we had the Jets and Indianapolis. This team, man. The Jets didn't really do much wrong, but they're not productive enough on offense. And I'm going to say it again and again and again and again this season's done for the Jets. Hallelujah for Jets fans, because this is the bye week and we don't have to think about our terrible team for a week. But it's really problematic if you let Anthony Richardson complete more than like 7 passes at this rate. He had a 66.6% completion percentage. Anthony Richardson. And we talked about time and time again in the preseason how elite the Jets defense was supposed to be. But now it looks more open. Actually, no, that's not a fair statement. I mean, the offensive line is allowing the. Let's stay focused on the defense. I have so much to talk about this. The defense, it looked like the middle of the field was the parting of the Red Sea. How many open lanes receivers had? Jonathan Taylor wasn't great. The Jets were able to stop the run, but the pass destroyed the Jets. One passing touchdown from Anthony Richardson, and a couple of field goals and more Anthony Richardson. He had 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. three rushing touchdowns on the day, I beg your pardon. I believe it was three because they had touchdowns. Oh no, they had two. My bad. Two touchdowns and a couple of field goals. Jets blow it because AR-15 had a rushing touchdown from 4 yards out at the end, and the Jets fall to 3-8. They are they are one of the most disappointing teams I've ever seen. Expectations, ton of talent. How does this happen? I don't know what to say anymore, guys. It's like saying the same thing over and over again. There's no fixing this. The tank is on. Will the Jets draft a quarterback next year? I don't know. I don't know. I think they could do it. Piss off Rodgers. So I guess they're drafting a defensive end, Maybe draft Travis Hunter. I don't know. I'm just tired of talking about the same narrative over and over and over again. Just for reference on how bad Aaron Rodgers has been as a Jet, he's a worse winning percentage than Zach Wilson. And you all know, if you've watched me for a long time on WIUR or here, how much I thought Zach Wilson was right, he was not the problem, not the main issue. He was a scapegoat. He wasn't great, he wasn't helping himself, but at the end of the day, he was still fine. Now you could really make that argument because the Jets of what they've been doing, they've Aaron Rodgers, an okay offensive line, weapons beyond belief, and they still can't do anything offensively. 250 yards of offense is not good enough for a team with this high level of expectation. It's not good enough. Will we see change? I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. It is a problem that won't be resolved till March, and it's frustrating as someone who watches his team week in and week out as much as I can with my work schedule. And it's like it's the same problem. It's like a carousel. You try to think you're going in the right direction, but you're going in a freaking circle. And it's gonna cost jobs too. Joe Douglas hasn't been a bad drafter, but I think he might get sick. He might get sacked. Jeff Ulbrich is definitely gone, but he might be moved back to defensive coordinator at this rate or something because I don't know what the problem is with this Jets defense. They have so many holes. Looks like a little slice of Swiss cheese. It's a problem that needs to be fixed, but it won't be fixed for a while, unfortunately. Also, once again, shout out Anthony Richardson for playing good. He looked great in the last game. Um, Over to Kansas City and Buffalo. It's the Bills who come out on top. How about Josh Allen? I love him. 262 yards. He threw a touchdown. He threw a bad interception, but he ran for 55 yards and had the biggest play of the game on 4th and 2. Was able to scramble up the middle, make a couple of man miss, and scores. Josh Allen is pretty much the key reason why they win this football game. Patrick Mahomes tried, but he threw for under 200 yards again. This Chiefs offense may have shown a little bit of a flaw or a couple of flaws. Mahomes, 2 interceptions. He was not, the 3 touchdowns were fine, but other than that, he was okay. Josh Allen proved his worth, and the Bills, the big time win. How about the Bills? They are 9-2. They have more wins than I projected them. I said they were going to be 8-9. They're going to be the most disappointing team on the season. They're going to possibly be AFC contenders now after what I said. That's absurd. They're basically taking the place of the Jets from what I said for both of them. But then again, the two most disappointing teams I have this season are Miami and the Jets. Yes, Miami's had two injuries, and they finally went out and won this week. But my God, Buffalo. Hello. What a day for Josh Allen and a big day for the Buffalo Bills as they give the Chiefs their first loss on the season. And the Bills are cruising. They're at 9-2. and will be cruising their way to an AFC East title in just a matter of time. And then we go to last night. Actually, before last night, a question I've been seeing a lot recently is KC frauds? Are they frauds? Are they frauds? And you can make the argument, yeah, I mean, they have only have a plus 50 something point differential. They've had too many close games. But whether you blame the refs or not, the good teams don't always blow out opponents. They haven't had the easiest schedule. They don't have the greatest roster in the world. They don't have a legitimate number one wide receiver because Rashee Rice is out. DeAndre Hopkins is fine, but he's an old shell of what he was. The Kansas City Chiefs and what they've done with the roster they have is already miraculous. And the fact that they're going to win the AFC West with no real receiver still, they have Xavier Worthy, they have DeAndre Hopkins. They're number two receivers now at the point of the career that both of them are in. So if you're winning with multiple number two receivers, they're still doing great, even with the squad they have. And I'll say it again, it's remarkable on what Kansas City has been able to do. And that's a round of applause to Andy Reid. Mahomes, even though he's not looked as the Mahomes we thought we would see, but they're 9-1. And I think they kind of deserve to be towards the top of the AFC. They have a lot of close games, a lot of suspect wins, but they find a way. Just like Buffalo does. They find ways. That's why I think both of them them and Baltimore will be battling for the AFC in a couple of months. Despite Baltimore losing, Cincinnati might have taken themselves out of playoff contention because they have to win out to have a chance. They went out and played a horrendous second quarter, including getting destroyed by J.K. Dobbins and Quentin Johnston. The Bengals tried, but J.K. Dobbins puts the nail in the coffin. And the Chargers win it late, 34-27. You thought they were going to blow it, but Justin Herbert, J.K. Dobbins said, I don't think so. Herbert, just shy of 300 passing yards total. Big day for J.K. Dobbins. He had multiple touchdowns. And on top of that, you had good days for Will Dissly, Quentin Johnston. The offense is starting to click. And that's what you need from a team that's 7-3 and still in the running in for the AFC West. I think they're going to fall off eventually. They've had a not as strong schedule. The fall off's inevitable. But what they've done so far is commendable for sure. Now, Cincinnati. You can put a bow on their season pretty much now. They have to win out to have a chance. Seriously. A team that opened the season losing to the Patriots have now lost 3 of their last 4, including back-to-back games losing by one score or less, by one score. Have to win out against Pittsburgh twice, Denver, Cleveland, Tennessee, and Dallas. That's a tough ask. I'd say the best for them would be 9-8 because I don't think they sweep Pittsburgh. But there's a good chance that week 18 can decide the fate of the Cincinnati Bengals. Because if you look at the standings and where we are right now, we'll take a look at them right now in the AFC. And the playoff picture out in the AFC. The playoff teams right now, the division winners would be Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Houston. With the wild cards of the Chargers, Baltimore, and Denver. Cincinnati's only 2 games out. If they win out, I think they have a good chance. But the odds of them doing that are so slim. It's wild how this season has gone downhill for Cincinnati. They have so many good offensive players, but there's constant times that Zach Taylor and his coaching style and the defense has let them down. So frustrating for Cincinnati. On the NFC side, division leaders right now are Detroit, Philadelphia, Arizona, and Atlanta, with the wildcard teams of Minnesota, Green Bay, and Washington. Right now, you need 6 wins at minimum to make it to the And to the NFC side of the playoffs, teams just out right now are Los Angeles, Seattle, and San Francisco. All three NFC West remaining teams are just on the outside looking in. It will be fun to see who will continue to push to try and get into that picture. If I had to pick one team right now, I think with the way they can be, it's going to be San Francisco or Seattle. I don't trust Los Angeles right now. San Francisco, with getting Christian McCaffrey back, they have to find a way to win games. Losing to Seattle does them no justice. But the way Seattle has been able to use their offense, centered mainly recently with Jackson Smith and Jigba, a wide receiver, I think Seattle's got a good chance too. But they just have to find ways. They're 2 games out of a wild card right now. Because the final wild card spot is Washington, which is nuts to think about. 2 games out. You have to be 7-3 or 7-4 to get into the wild card spot right now in the NFC. Loaded NFC this year. Quick update in the other sports. We'll just go through a couple of headlines from very recently. The Cavs continue to win. They're 15-0 somehow, which is extremely impressive now. You're getting to that point. I'm like, oh Lord, they're actually going to be good. Guess what, folks? They are pretty damn good. Other major results from the week. I think the NBA Cup was in action. Yep, NBA Cup. Notable upsets including the Hawks over the Celtics. The Bucks actually won a game. The Sixers lost again. The Mavs lost to the Warriors and the Blazers. Big win for the Blazers. They went out and beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Other notable results from the week in the second day of the NBA Cup action. The Knicks won again. The Cavs can't lose. Thunder beat the Suns in a low-scoring affair. And how about Golden State going out and grabbing multiple wins in the first phase of the tournament? Also, the Hawks are 2-0, just to make everyone a little bit more uncomfortable with this group stuff. Not any other major results that catch the eye. If you look at the NBA standings right now, the Detroit Pistons are 7-8. That's one of the biggest storylines for me right now. Detroit, were 8 games out of the 1 seed, are fifth in the conference. That East is horrible. East is terrible. The West, incredible. Golden State is top of the West right now at 10-2. Golden State, a team I had like ninth. They are the unpredictable foe of this season. The shockingly bad team is New Orleans. They're 4-10 somehow. If you want to talk about a shocking team in the East, it's Philadelphia until it's not. Toronto have been pretty awful. Same with Milwaukee, but Philadelphia, the expectation has not been reached, and I don't think will be reached late as the season rolls on. They gotta pick it up somehow. Have to pick it up. Over in the NHL, I'll try to find a couple of notable headlines in the Eastern Conference. New Jersey, who have played like infinite games, are tied for first with Carolina. Washington has surged up the standings behind back-to-back wins in a 7-2-1 home record. How about that for Washington? They're in third. Rangers dropped to fourth despite only losing 5 of their first 16 games. They are in fourth. The New York Islanders are trying to keep pace, but they are tied with Philadelphia. Pittsburgh have been bad, and Columbus is Columbus at this rate. In the East, Florida continues to lead. And how about the Toronto Maple Leafs? They've won back-to-back, as have Tampa Bay, to stay in the running in second and third. Boston's tied for third, but they've lost back-to-back games. Then it's Ottawa, Buffalo, Detroit, and Montreal. In the West, the Winnipeg Jets are showing signs of decline. They've lost back-to-back games after winning 15 of their first 16. So they're starting to fall off a little bit. The Minnesota Wild are not doing that. They've only lost 1 in a row, but Dallas is flying. They've won 3 in a row to jump to third. They're in a much more comfortable spot. Colorado, who've also been great recently, up until a very, very recent loss, they've jumped up to fourth. The disappointment is still Nashville. How are they that bad with the talent they have? I don't know. And the rest are the rest. I'll shout at Utah for only being 1 point out of the fourth spot in the West, in the Central Division. In the Pacific, the team that continues to disappoint is Edmonton, though they've been trying to turn it around. No one's real. Everyone's like winning and losing like a barrage. Vegas still leads the division ahead of 1 point ahead of Los Angeles Kings. Then Vancouver and Calgary are tied, and Edmonton's 1 point behind them. Seattle are still trying to make a push as well. They're 2 points behind the fourth spot in the Pacific, and Anaheim and San Jose picking up the rear. Um, Finally, today we'll be talking Formula One. Formula One, one of the big talking points on this channel throughout the year. We're heading to the final three races of the Formula One season. It's going to be a fun finish. We go to Vegas for a race under the lights on the strip. It is going to be a very fun time. Now, just warning you, if you're watching this in New York, the race and qualifying are at 1 in the morning. I might watch quali. I am not watching the race. 1 a.m. quali? Really? Not a fan of that. And not to mention the race. Oh no, so it'll be 1 a.m. Saturday night. I think. I have no idea how this works. I think it's one. Yeah, no, it's 1 a.m. Saturday night. Also into Sunday mornings. It's 1 a.m. Sunday morning, 1 a.m. Saturday night. Friday night and Saturday. Nah, I might watch it. Let me know if you want me to stream it or something. I don't know. What teams do you want me to watch out for? And what headlines should we watch out for down the stretch of the Formula One season? And there's a couple, and we're going to go over them right now. For starters, the Drivers' Championship is basically wrapped up. Max Verstappen has been kicking ass all season. Whether it be Checo's or his teams, they finally found a way, and Max has pretty much sealed up the championship with three races remaining. He just needs points in like one race, and he's done it. The big focus will be the second place spot with Leclerc being 24 points behind Lando Norris, who can't start a race. Well, Piastri's been one of the biggest shockers this season. He's in fourth. Then Sainz, Russell, Hamilton. Sergio Perez is in eighth by Alonso. And the real shocker, Haas this year. They've been really, really solid. In the team standings, this is where we'll be focusing on mainly for the rest of the way. McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, all are in the top three, and they will be battling it out for the next 3 weeks for the team's championship, the constructors' standings. Right now, McLaren leads by about just under 40 points, and then Red Bull is only 13 behind Ferrari, who are in second. Ferrari is a team in second, just behind McLaren. Then Red Bull, big drop off to Mercedes, who are going to get fourth this season. And then it's going to probably be Aston Martin, and then a battle in the bottom half of the midfield between Haas, Alpine, and RB Racing, but whatever the Visa Cash App Racing, whatever the hell they're called. Then Williams and Sauber. We know the other big headline is the drivers lineup for next season. Last time, a couple episodes ago on my channel, we talked about Gabby Bortoleto being the next driver for Sauber. He'll be driving with Hulkenberg next year. The other unconfirmed seats are in the Red Bull family. Everything else is known. So we'll maybe see something else in the last couple of weeks. Abu Dhabi will be saying some very painful goodbyes. We'll see one probable retirement and a lot of switching. So it'll be an emotional last 3 weeks of the Formula One season. I can tell you that for free. But let's go into predictions for the race. Now, last year, Max won it, but it was a very close race. And I'm going to say it's going to be a close one again. I'm going to go Ferrari getting the job done. Leclerc, I have winning the Las Vegas Grand Prix. I don't have him taking pole. I have Lando taking pole and blowing it again because narratives are narratives. I have Lando go third with Max in second. So it'll be Leclerc, Max, Lando Norris. Then I have Oscar Piastri in fifth place with Carlos Sainz fourth. It'll be like a sandwich. McLaren sandwich with signs in the middle. That's my top five prediction. If you want me to make one bold prediction for this race, hmm, I don't know. I'll let you guys make them in the comments below. Comment below, what do you think is the bold prediction for the Las Vegas Grand Prix this weekend? So much sports, so much drama, so much controversy to come throughout the rest of the week. We'll preview all the soccer and football headlines in the NFL and college football for you on Friday on the debut of Footy Fridays. For now, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye, everyone.